Welcome to Sock Talk.
where the data knows you better than you know yourself, and someone already used that against you.
Today we've got two stories.
Two separate stories, Riley, that are not connected.
They are so connected. They are so connected.
Cambridge Analytica and Boeing 737 MAX. One is about elections, one is about airplanes. These are different things.
One is about how they control what you think. The other is about what happens when the people doing the controlling decide your life is worth less than their quarterly earnings.
Okay, fine, let's go.
So, Cambridge Analytica. Let's just set the table here.
Please?
87 million Facebook users. Their data harvested without their knowledge, without their consent, without even a pop-up that said, hey, someone's going to use your personality profile to decide an election.
Okay, but that could just be a data company doing aggressive but technically legal data collection. That stuff was everywhere in the mid-2010s.
Alex, they weren't selling you shoes. They built psychological profiles. They figured out your fears, your insecurities, what makes you angry at 3 in the morning. And then they use that to push targeted political messaging directly into your feed.
I mean, that's what advertising does. Every company targets based on behavior.
Not like this. This wasn't you looked at boots, here's a boot ad. This was this person scores high on neuroticism and fear of economic instability. So show them this specific message designed to make them feel like the country is collapsing.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's a different thing.
They called it psychographic targeting. They had a model OCN, openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. They could predict your personality from your Facebook likes, just your likes, Alex.
From likes.
Researchers found that with 68 Facebook likes, they could predict your personality better than your closest friends, with 150 better than your family, with 300 better than your partner.
I need a second.
Take your time.
Okay, but someone still had to click on the ad. No one was forced to believe anything.
Alex, when the message is perfectly engineered for the exact anxiety you carry around every single day, the one you haven't even told people about, is that really a free choice?
That's a philosophical question, Riley.
It's a very practical question because they deployed this in elections, Brexit, the 2016 US election, elections in Kenya, India, Trinidad.
Wait, Trinidad?
Trinidad, they ran a campaign there explicitly designed to suppress youth voter turnout in communities that would vote against their client. They called it, and I want you to hear this, they called it the Do So campaign. The slogan was literally do so, as in do nothing.
They campaigned for people to not vote.
Using psychologically targeted messaging to specific demographics on Facebook.
Okay, that's actually terrifying.
And the guy who blew the whole thing open, Christopher Wiley, former director of research, he said, and I'm quoting, "We exploited Facebook to harvest millions of people's profiles and built models to exploit what we knew about them and target their inner demons."
Inner demons is a phrase a data company used.
In internal communications, yes.
Okay, but here's my pushback. Cambridge Analytica went bankrupt. Facebook got fined $5 billion, actually. The people involved faced consequences. The system caught it.
Alex, a $5 billion fine to a company worth hundreds of billions is a parking ticket. And Cambridge Analytica didn't disappear. The parent company SCL Group just rebranded, spun off. The people who built the machine are still out there.
You can't prove they're still doing it.
You can't prove they stopped.
Why did nobody tell me this?
Some people tried. Wiley testified before parliaments, multiple parliaments. The information is all public. It's sitting right there.
And yet somehow I spent a decade liking pictures of dogs without knowing I was handing someone a psychological blueprint.
We all did. We all did.
So someone built a machine that reads minds through data and used it to move elections, and the machine still exists.
And the data they collected, that data doesn't expire, Alex. Those profiles don't delete. Somewhere there is a file that knows what you're afraid of.
I'm going to go unlike some things.
Too late.
Too late.
Okay, speaking of organizations that knew something was wrong and decided not to tell anyone,
We're pivoting to Boeing.
we are pivoting to Boeing, and I want you to hold on to what we just talked about. The idea that internal communications can show you exactly when someone knew, exactly what they knew, and chose silence anyway.
Okay, but that could just be standard corporate negligence. Companies cut corners. That's tragically common.
2 planes, 8 months apart, 346 people.
Yeah.
Lion Air Flight 610, October 2018, crashes into the Java Sea 12 minutes after takeoff. Then Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302, March 2019, crashes 6 minutes after takeoff. Same plane, same flaw, same result.
And after the first crash, the plane was still flying.
Still flying on routes all over the world for 5 more months.
Okay, but investigations take time. You can't just ground an entire fleet on suspicion.
Alex, after the internal communications came out, the messages between Boeing employees, one engineer wrote, and I want you to really hear this, this airplane is designed by clowns who are in turn supervised by monkeys.
Stop.
That's a Boeing employee. About the 737 MAX, before the crashes,
Before.
And there's another message where an employee describes misleading regulators, the FAA, about the flight simulator training requirements for the new system. He wrote, I basically lied to the regulators.
He wrote that in a message.
In a message that Boeing sat on for months after the crashes before handing it over to investigators.
Okay, what was the actual flaw?
So the 737 MAX had a new system called MCAS, Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System. It was designed to automatically push the nose of the plane down if it detected a stall. Sounds reasonable. The problem is it relied on a single sensor, one sensor. If that sensor gave a wrong reading, which it did, in both crashes, the system would push the nose down, the pilots would pull back, the system would push down again, and you get a cycle that the pilots had no way to stop because they hadn't been properly trained on it.
They weren't trained on it?
Boeing told airlines the system was so similar to the old 737 that pilots didn't need full simulator training. Just an iPad course, partly because full simulator training would have cost the airlines money, and the airlines might have switched to the Airbus A320 instead.
So the training was reduced to keep the sales competitive.
And the FAA signed off on it because Boeing had been given authority to certify a lot of its own safety systems. They were essentially approving their own homework.
That can't be right.
It's called the ODA, Organization Designation Authorization. Boeing employees were officially deputized as FAA representatives for certain approvals. The regulator in the company had become the same thing in places.
Okay, but that kind of regulatory overlap gets fixed after something like this.
Does it? The 737 MAX returned to service in late 2020 after a 20-month grounding. More planes are flying right now. And there have been subsequent safety incidents, doors, panels, that have raised questions all over again about what's changed and what hasn't.
I fly, Riley. I fly in planes.
I know.
I have flown in a 737 MAX.
Statistically, probably more than once.
Why did nobody tell me this?
You could have looked it up. All of this is public. Congressional reports, the internal messages were released. Journalists covered it extensively.
But you said Boeing faced consequences. Executives were charged, right? Didn't they settle? Didn't someone go to jail?
No one went to jail.
No one?
The Department of Justice reached a deferred prosecution agreement. Boeing paid about $2.5 billion in fines and compensation. Nobody was personally criminally convicted. 346 people.
$2.5 billion.
For context, the 737 MAX program was valued at hundreds of billions in future orders.
So the math worked out.
The math worked out.
Okay, I'm a little worried now.
I've been worried since we started researching this episode.
Connect it. You said these were connected. Connect Cambridge Analytica to Boeing. I want to hear it.
Okay, here it is. Cambridge Analytica showed us that institutions, companies, political operations can sit on information that would change everything for the public, use it for their own purposes, and face consequences so small they barely register. Boeing showed us the exact same architecture, internal documents proving they knew, regulators too close to the regulated, consequences that don't fit the scale of what happened, and in both cases, the information was always there. It was just decided that you didn't need it.
Okay, that's the thread.
It's not a thread, it's a pattern.
A pattern of institutions knowing, deciding the public doesn't get to know, and then absorbing the fine when it all comes out.
And continuing to operate.
Two stories. One about how they moved elections without you knowing. One about how 346 people died and no one went to prison.
And the people who built both of those systems are still working somewhere.
You found this podcast. Somehow. That's not nothing.
The comments section is the one place they haven't figured out yet. Leave your theory there while you still can.
We'll be here digging. whether that's a good idea or not.
It's probably not.
Probably not.